Hello everybody, EBStorm0487 is here. How things going? Hope everybody are holding in there about the tariffs. Yeah, today let's talk about tariffs. What is tariffs? What is a tariff? It says the most countries are limited by their natural resources and ability to produce certain goods and services. They trade with other countries to get what their population needs and demands. However, trade isn't always conducted in an amenable manner between trading partners. Policies, geopolitics, competition, and many other factors can make trading partners unhappy. One of the ways governments deal with trading partners they disagree with is through tariffs. A tariff is a tax imposed by one country on the goods and services imported from another country to influence it, raise revenues, or protect competitive advantages. And here are the key takeaways. Governments impose tariffs to raise revenue, protect domestic industry, or exert political leverage over another country. Tariffs often result in unwanted side effects such as higher consumer prices. Tariffs have a long and continuous history, and the debate over whether they represent good or bad policy still rages. Okay, understanding tariffs. Tariffs are used to restrict imports. Simply put, they increase the price of goods and services purchased from another country, making them less attractive to domestic consumers. A key point to understand is that a tariff affects the exporting country because consumers in the country that imposed the tariff might shy away from the imports due to the price increase. However, if the consumer still chooses the imported product, then the tariff can insatiably raise the cost to the consumer in another country. A specific tariff is levied as a fixed fee based on the type of item, such as a $500 tariff on a car. An ad valorem tariff is levied based on the item's value, such as 5% of the importance value. Why governments impose tariffs? Governments may impose tariffs for several reasons: to raise revenue, to protect domestic industries, to protect domestic consumers, to protect national interests. Raising revenue. Tariffs can be used to raise revenues for government. This kind of tariff is called a revenue tariff and is not designed to restrict imports. For instance, in 2018 and 2019, President Donald Trump and his administration imposed tariffs on many items to rebalance the trade deficit. In the fiscal year 2018, customs duties received were $41.6 billion. In fiscal year 2019, duties received were $7 71.9 billion. Protecting domestic industry. Governments can use tariffs to benefit political industry, often doing so to protect companies and jobs. For example, in April 2018, President Donald Trump imposed a 25% ad valorem tariff on steel articles from all countries except Canada and Mexico. In March 2022, President Joe Biden replaced the tariff on steel products from the United Kingdom with a tariff rate quota of 500,000 metric tons and reached quota deals with several other countries. This proclamation reopened the trade of specific items with the UK while taking measures to protect domestic U.S. steel manufacturing and production jobs. Protecting domestic consumers. By making foreign-produced goods more expensive, tariffs can make domestically produced alternatives seem more attractive. Some products made in countries with fewer regulation can harm consumers, such as a product coated in lead-based paint. Tariffs can make these products so expensive that consumers won't buy them. Effective February 1st, 2025, President Donald Trump placed 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico and 10% tariffs on imports from China. The rationale behind these tariffs was to force these countries to cooperate with the U.S. to stem the flow of illegal immigrants and drugs like fentanyl from entering the U.S., as well as to boost domestic manufacturing and raise revenue. Protecting national interests. Tariffs can also be used as an extension of foreign policy, as their imposition on a trade partner's main exports may be used to exert economic leverage. For example, when Russia invaded Ukraine, much of the world protested by boycotting Russian goods or imposing sanction. In April 2022, President Biden suspended normal trade with Russia. In June, he raised the tariff on Russia imports not prohibited by April suspension to 35%. Unintended side effects of tariffs. Tariffs can have unintended side effects. They can make domestic industries less efficient and innovative. By producing competition, they can hurt domestic consumers, since a lack of competition tends to push up prices. They can generate tensions by favoring specific industry or geographic regions over others. For example, tariffs designed to help manufacturers in cities may hurt consumers in rural areas who do not benefit from the policy and are likely to pay more for manufactured goods. Finally, an attempt to pressure a rival country by using tariffs can devolve into an unprotected cycle of retaliation, commonly known as a trade war. And there's advantages and disadvantages of tariffs. Pro: produce revenue, open negotiation, support a nation's goal, make a market predictable. And there's some consequences to tariffs. created issues between governments, entities, trade wars. And there's a new economic theory. The Scottish economist Adam Smith was one of the first to question the wisdom of this arrangement. His Wealth of Nations was published in 1776, the same year Britain's American colonies declared independence in response to the high taxes and restrictive trade arrangements. Later writers such as David Ricardo further developed Smith's idea, leading to the theory of comparative advantage. It maintains that if one country is better at producing a specific product while another country is better at producing another, each should devote its resources to the activity at which it excels. The countries should trade with one another rather than erect barriers that force them to divert resources toward activities they do not perform well. According to this theory, tariffs drag economic growth, even if they can be deployed to benefit specific nation sectors under some circumstances. Hey, that's it for this video. And there's more to come. If you want to learn more about tariffs, go on the website. For example, www.investopedia.com. Hope you have a wonderful day and hang in there. Bye.